There has been some news about the missing woman who was on the Carnival Horizon. Also going to talk about a woman's dream vacation, her very first cruise out of Galveston, which turned into a nightmare. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Delania. First up, we're going to talk about missing passenger Jessica Collins. When docked in Bonaire, 47-year-old Jessica Collins got off the ship. She never returned back on board. She was dressed casually in a Hawaiian-style shirt, shorts. She had her backpack, a bottle of water. She looked like a typical guest was heading off on an excursion, but she failed to return back on board. Now, this caused major concern, especially because she was sailing by herself. And this is why people were fearing the worst could have happened to her. They alerted the local police and media to help in the search of the missing woman. They wanted to know if anybody had any information about her disappearance. A couple of days ago, when this story started going around on social media, especially on TikTok, people started getting concerned because this had some implications, some similarities to the Amy Bradley story, that documentary that's on Netflix, and also other cruise passengers that have since gone missing. As they started digging, there's a video floating around on YouTube of allegedly Jessica Collins, the same woman, claiming that she is a victim of Jeffrey, you know who, that Jeffrey, exactly. So that video I will link down below, where she retells her story about what happened to her. But everyone started thinking, wow, this is just really weird. Could this be a connection? Is this why she disappeared? We don't know. And allegedly it is the same woman, but we don't know. I mean, it looks exactly like the same woman, all right? And here's a little bit of that video.
The reason you don't see me in the news is because I am a real victim. Real victims are not being represented by attorneys or in the media. I was to Jeffrey Epstein by Deborah, the DC madam. I was a student at the Catholic University of America in Washington, DC in 2002. I answered an ad in the city paper. The ad was ambiguous. Deborah was professional. I thought I was going on a real job interview. Instead, I was and by I tried to tell Deborah what happened, but something she said made me realize she knew what happened. At that point, they had my driver's license, and I did not know what to do or where to go for help. At that point, I was driven by to the Bethesda Marriott on Pooks Hill, where Jeffrey. I have tried to get help. I called the police.
I'll link the full video down below so you can see it for yourself. Let me know if you think that's the same woman that's missing. Now that the story has made its rounds on the internet, a couple days later, Jessica, who seems to be alive and well, calls the people from Carnival and tells them that she does not want to be bothered, she doesn't want to be found, and that she is okay. Good news. I hope she is okay, and if she's having some sort of mental thing going on, I hope she gets help. It's also been reported that she may have planned this. And apparently Jessica left a note and a tip for her stateroom attendant that morning. That's why it's being speculated that she planned to stay in Bonaire. But the story's not over yet because the authorities in Bonaire are still looking for her. She is still wanted. Remember, what she did was not legal. She's not supposed to stay there without permission. And listen, if you want to disappear, if you want to go somewhere else, just take the right steps because this is not it, all right? And if she intended to do this on purpose, trying to disappear through cruise ship is not really a good idea because everybody's going to hear about it. They're going to be like, there's a missing passenger. They're not going to stop until they find you, until they locate you. It's probably going to go viral on the internet. But anyway, if she wanted to do this, she could have done this a different way. Yeah, we don't know how she's doing or what she's going through. But Jessica, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're fine. And just go to the authorities, get yourself a visa if you do want to stay there. But just please be safe out there. So next I want to talk about Kiali Baxter. She had a medical emergency on board a Royal Caribbean ship.
Hi guys, my name is Kylie Baxter and I'm basically just going to be sharing my experience. On September 6th, I boarded a cruise ship with my boyfriend, and on September 8th, I began to vomit blood and I passed out, which they rushed me to the medical facility that was on the boat. where they basically found that I was bleeding internally and my hemoglobin levels were critically low. So they called for EMS. EMS brought me 4 hours to a private and very specific hospital, passing other hospitals. When I first got there, they demanded $2,500 just to look at me, just to do any work. Once I paid the money, they gave me something to stop the bleeding. After that, I waited about 9 hours overnight, even with a dangerously low hemoglobin level, before they even started to give me any blood. They ran multiple procedures to locate the bleeding, but they were unsuccessful. My blood levels are still extremely low, and we're trying to get stable enough so I can get back to the US. But that's even more complicated because here I don't have a passport. We are currently working with the US consulate and Assist America to get a passport to get me medvaced back to the US. I just want to say that if you're traveling outside the US, please make sure that you have travel insurance. I can't tell you how much I wish I would have had it. I am a law enforcement officer and I'm a proud servant of my community. If it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone. From the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you guys so much for all your support and all your love and all your prayers. And I hope to see you guys soon.
Between the cruise ship and the hospital in Mexico, the bills were up to $13,000. This is Kiali Baxter and her family over here, and they're talking about the experience and what they went through. And her father right here says something very profound.
Sometimes the trip of a lifetime can become the situation of a lifetime.
This is the paper trail from All Expenses Paid for Kylie Baxter, who is just 2 days and 5 hours into her first ever cruise with her boyfriend.
I could feel myself kind of going in and out of consciousness. I was very cold and terrified.
Kylie's parents get texts and calls. She's at the hospital, which said it would only take payment before treatment.
But we'll work as far as the $2,500 will take us. I've never heard this in my life.
Several procedures done, and Kylie was eventually released.
How do we get to over $9,000?
We have no idea.
The Baxter family got this itemized bill. In hindsight, the family wishes they looked into travel insurance. A GoFundMe has helped recover the costs, but the family hopes others can be prepared to avoid the financial pain.
It was a very, very scary experience, and my main thing that I do want to say is that I really wish I would have gotten the travel insurance.
Wow, that is so scary. Thank goodness she did make it. You know, now it did cost over $13,000. And luckily, thank God, they had a GoFundMe going. And the GoFundMe is actually almost at $13,000. If you're traveling anywhere that is not in the United States or it's not in your country, maybe make sure that you have travel insurance just in case, because you never know when these emergencies could happen. And I understand not even thinking about having travel insurance, especially if you're in your 20s and you're healthy and you're like, I mean, come on, what can happen? This is my first cruise, right? But even so, you know, just think about getting the travel insurance just to be safe, just as a cushion, all right? A little umbrella of safety that you know you have at least, okay? I am glad she's doing okay and I wish her well. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below if you have heard of this story or if you know anything new that's happened. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.